Welcome back guys sa ating bago na naman episode. So, thank you for your interest on the episode 1, which is how to install SAMP and Atom as our text editor. So on our next episode, we will discuss about the output functions and the variables of this series. So this is Pagkalagan. So thank you for watching and thank you for your interest in this uh, tutorial on how to program using PHP. So before we can proceed, let me say some things. Before we can proceed to the output functions, we will discuss first about what are variables, how do we use variables, or how to use variables, because it could be very interesting if we will discuss about the variables first before we can proceed to the before we can move on to the output functions. It will be fun. No, it will be fun. So let's go back to our atom, or atom, what atom text editor. Since we have created the PHP programming series and then we have another folder, let's create another folder here by right clicking and then click the new folder, and then let's name this one as episode 2 because this is the second episode of our series. Ayan. So that's it. So and then create a new file, and then we will name this as variables.php. Why variables? Because we will discuss it here on how to use these variables. No, how do we create them? So if we refresh here, if we refresh it here, we can already see that the directory that we have created, the episode 2, and then the variables of PHP. As you have noticed that it is empty because uh, we didn't do anything as of this. It's already line 1. So before we can proceed on how to create variables, uh, let's write the PHP. Just press tab so that the closing PHP code will be automatically be filled out. And then so variables always starts with a dollar sign, or this one. So variables allows us to save values which can be accessed at any time. So it is very useful for computations if you have any, for formulas if you have want to prepare something. So that is useful. No, variables are very useful. What would happen if what will happen if I don't know if that will be considered as a programming language if you don't have that dollar sign or the variables. Anyway, let's proceed. So how do you do that? So first is write dollar sign and then the variable name. Then let's have an example. Let's have an initial value of what we call the hello world. So this is what we call a variable declaration or variable assignment. What do you mean by variable assignment? A variable assignment is you're setting an initial value to this variable name. So every time you use the variable name, this one, every time you output that thing, it is always the value, the initial value of this one will be called, which is the hello world. So if we try to print this one or echo, it will be output. All right. So we will proceed later on how to use the output functions. Let's focus first on this one. the variables name. So for example, let's have another one, variable var, and the value is 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, 6. As you have noticed, I didn't include any double quotes or single quotes. That's because it would be better if there is no single quotes or double quotes on the numbers, because it's the same way. So if you try to echo 1, 2, 3 with double quotes, single quotes, or no quotes at all, it will still be the same. So what is happening here is that before we receive the initial value for the variable var, what PHP does is that it anything after the equal sign or the assignment operator, it is performed. No. So PHP will compute this first, and then the final answer is assigned to the variable. Eh, eh, did you get me? It's like 123 plus 456. The answer of that will be assigned to the variable var. So every time you echo or print, or if you want to output the variable var, it's not 123 plus 456. It is 579, because that's the math. 579. 6 plus 3, that's 9. 5 plus 2 is 7. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So the final answer of this one is this one. Alright. So let's have another variable. Let's have variable b. Let's have 6 times 2 plus 5. That one. So it's the same for the algebra or for the math, that the M-DOS rule is followed. It's a math, division, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So every time there is a parenthesis, it will be performed first. It will be calculated first before adding it to the 5. So 6 times 2, that is 12 plus 5, that is 17. So the final answer, which is 17, let's take the 579. And then this one, that is, what is 6 times 2? That is 12. And then plus 5. The total answer is 17. That's right. That's it. So you can also declare or assign a variable to another variable, right? So you can do this one. Var c equals variable var plus variable var b. That's also considered. So the variable var here is the answer from this computation, from this line, and the variable var b is coming also from this line. So when PHP runs this code, the value of the variable var is called, then adds to the variable b, the variable var b. So that is 579 plus 17. That's it. This is how you do things. Okay, so this so if you have any questions for the variables, don't just leave it in the comments. No, this is just basic things that you can do with variables, and we can also use these variables. We can use these variables when we have reached the output things. So just wait for a minute. Just read out the things I've seen here. Then Oops. So the next thing is, since we have variables already, let's let's try to output these things. So I'm going to create a new file again, and then we will name this as output. So output.php. So same with the variable.php. You write this one, and then let's assign. Um, let's try to create a variable name. Hmm, create a variable name. This equal John Doe. That's right. So how do we output? There are two there are two functions that allows you to output things. So the most common are the echo and print, right? So the only difference is that if echo is used, it's just the response void. I mean, if you want to just display this one, you can use the echo. But if you are using the print, it's it will test the code first. It will test if the variable does really exist, right? So if you have it, the print always have this boolean value of true or false. So if the expression is true, then the result is displayed. But if it is false, you can have another thing for that. With echo, you're just going to output it directly. So if we try to echo the name here, that one, the echo name, so we will refresh this one. Let's open again the episode 2 and then open this file. You will see it is outputted as John Doe because you're using the echo. It's because you're using the echo. But what if we use print? There. So what we have seen here is we can also see another John Doe because print and echo works the same. They have the same functionality, but the only catch is that echo just when it's compared to a person, echo is just go ahead, just play this thing immediately without checking. But if you are using the print, it will be verified first if the expression is true. So when the expression is true, then the variable is displayed. So if it is not, then you can have an error message for that. So let's try again another example. Let's grab the example coming from this. So let's try to grab these three guys and then let's have it here. So I'm going just to echo the BR. So if you already know the HTML, BR is just hitting the enter key. So let's paste that one and then we will echo the variable var. So the value of variable var is, let's add the dot. Now the value of variable var is space then dot then variable var. So what's the dot here? That means that is string concatenation. Concatenation, that means you're bringing two things together. You're combining two things together, two or more things. So that allow us to more flexible when it comes to our applications. And then let's add another dot for to concatenate that we are going to add another BR so that we can have the answer of the value of the variable var is 579. So let's try another example. Simple echo, or this time let's use print. The value of variable var b is dot var b, then the br tag on HTML. So if we refresh this one, we have the result, which is 17, and then we will have the final computation. No? So let's just try to print the addition of variable var and variable var b is the variable var c. We put in a var c, then let's add the br. So save this one and then refresh. You will see the answer is 596. So when you output things, you should be keeping this on mind. So there are two types on outputting strings. Two types of outputting strings. So the first one, sorry for that. The first one is using the double quotes. So this double quotes allows us to combine with the variables and display its value. So let's take for example the variable John Doe. So if we're going to take an example to echo my name is variable name. So this is a shortcut. You don't have to add the string concatenation symbol or the operator for that. Just you can combine my name is the name. Right? So if we output this one, we will see the name is John Doe because we are using the double quotes. This allows us to combine with the variables and display its value. So every time you have a variable inside of a double quoted strings, the value will be called. Right? If you get me. So the variable name, you cannot actually see the variable name here. Why you are seeing John Doe? Because the value of the variable name is John Doe. Right? So it's quite simple, it's quick, and it's fast. The second type of outputting strings is using the single quotes. So another term for that is what we call the string literals. The string literals is that any string inside of it will be outputted as is. So what do we mean by that? So if we're going to copy this one, and instead of double quote, we use a single quote. Save that one. As you can see, you can actually see the variable name. That is because when it comes to string literals, anything that is inside this single quote will be displayed. PHP has no concern of the variable name. It is considered as part of the string. Here, the difference between these two is that if you have the intention, then if you want to display the value of name here by using the single quotes, then you have to do it this way so that you can view the value of the variable name. But be very careful on using this one because it's a small code. There's a there's that chance. No, maybe you will not see that one, but the only thing with atom is that if you're using the single quotes, they will have the same color. But on the double quotes, it will the variables will be highlighted. You can see it that this is the variable I am using a single quotes. Alright, so this is for the short time. Alright, so we are going to have another discussion for that. So if you have any questions, you can just grab anything, can test this one. So this is how you do the variables now. We're just talking about the basics. We don't need to talk about the advanced sections. Alright. So there are another output functions now. How do we output variables? The other one is the printf and the sprintf. Alright. So we will discuss more about them later on or on the next episode. Alright. So as you have seen, another additional discussion. We have the comments. So every time you see a double forward slash, that is what we call a single line comment. Right? Single line just good. It's just it only works for one line only. Right? It says like short note or short comment about this code. But if you prefer a lengthy comment or a lengthy paragraph to explain what this code is all about, you can do it this way. This is a multi-line comment. So the multi-line comment can be used to comment out large blocks of code. It begins with the forward slash asterisk and the closing asterisk forward slash. So this is very useful if you have a comment that's very lengthy, right? So I think that's a great thing. All right. So on the next episode, I'm going to discuss what how to use the operators. I think, yeah, operators. Then the operators, and then after the operators, we will discuss about the how to the control structures and then the looping. A control structures is if you want to decide which part of the program will decide, and then the looping. No, when it comes to the loop, how do you do that? The looping method. So if you want to repeat the same step all over again, or for any many number of times, that's looping. So we have different types of looping, and also we have all different kinds of looping control structures. That will be on the next episode. I think that's it. Types and operators on episode number 3. Types and operators, and then on the episode 5, episode 4, episode 3 will be types and operators, and then episode 4 will be the control structures and loops. So these are the basic things that you need to know on the program. Alright. And then after those 4 lessons, we will try to, we will use the HTML so that we can interact between us, or we can send data from us using the browser. We can send data and then let PHP process that thing. So I would like to thank everyone for listening or for watching our episode 2, which is the output functions and variables of the PHP programming series. This is Paglagan, sharing what you need to share. So thank you for watching again. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments down below. and thank you very much.